All right, everybody, welcome back. It is day 2 of the AV Summit. With us is Hobie from Monolith, aka Monoprice. Is it no? It's Monolith by Monoprice, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. I sit corrected.
Right off the bat, somebody says they love their THX 10 subs and TWE headphones.
I
Yep.
like that. That's
Yeah,
good
those
news.
TWEs are no joke. Those true wireless earbuds. With what is the partnership with Sound ID?
Yeah, so I worked with those guys and we implemented their technology into the earbuds to where you can customize it to your liking. We've actually Sound ID keeps improving the app. So when it first came out, you basically listen to a bunch of test patterns and it sort of picked a curve
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
But now, there's an EQ that you can set up yourself if you want to actually customize an EQ on your own. So
I saw that. I
yeah,
saw the
nice.
parametric EQ and I was like,
Right.
how come mine didn't have that? Hold on a second. So it's an update to the app.
it's more to the so it works on those on the
Awesome.
Monolith TWE. But yeah,
That's
as they keep
awesome.
refining the app, it's sort of like getting a new feature that goes along.
So, all right. So, real quick, I talk a lot about how there's this one headphone that I have where the drivers are maybe similar to other drivers, but with the app they get it to flat response first, and then it corrects for your hearing capabilities,
Right.
and then it corrects for your preferences. So at the end, you have something that's accurate and but to your preference and to your hearing capability. And those are the headphones I'm talking about, the Monolith True Wireless earbuds, and they're not expensive earbuds. It's just they're using good new technology and very smart use of the hardware and the software. So that's all Hobie. And if you don't know Hobie, he's the mastermind behind all the Monolith stuff. Is that safe to say? I know I'm talking you up, but
That's very safe to say. Yeah.
all right. So this is the man. Anytime you go and see Monolith, this is he's
He is
picking and
Monolith.
choosing what's what. Yeah,
He's Monolith.
yeah.
I should get
so
a tattoo. Maybe that's coming soon.
Should get the logo right on your forehead.
Yeah, it'd be like my first tattoo, just right here.
oh, right there on a tier.
And that way I can charge people. I get another tattoo.
I'm super excited, Hobie. You are awesome. I know you're like low key guy, but I'm gonna hype you up so crazy because I'm so excited about the products. Not just because you guys are a channel sponsor, right? But because these products are crazy. You guys judge, right? So at the end of the day, I can say what I want to say, but when the measurements and other people start saying the same things, then you'll know that what I'm saying is true. So anyway, let's freestyle it. Let's talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a lot of new products coming out for the holiday. Some of them have just hit, like the 13-inch subwoofer came out in August, the 16-inch a couple weeks ago. Both of those are off to really strong starts, and I think from a performance perspective, like the 16-inch subwoofer is really hard to be beat out there from a pure output standpoint. There's not a lot of subs that beat it unless you want to spend about $2,000 more. So I think for the money, it's probably the best subwoofer out there. We'll be launching a new line of speakers here in a couple of weeks called the Encore series. We should have some Class D amplifiers in stock before Christmas, sometime in November, we're hoping. I actually have the chassis and everything is right behind me.
Look at that.
There, and the module is sitting on top. So that should be, I could talk about that a little more later. I mean, it's an amplifier, so it's not quite as,
So a quick overview of the stuff that you're talking about, right?
Right. So, like on the speaker side of things, and the other thing I just launched. So we just refreshed our 10, 12, and 15-inch subwoofers. They're live on the site today. It's mostly a cosmetic refresh. I made them look more like the 13 and 16-inch with the rounded corners instead of the angle corners. The woofer is inset now instead of sort of protruding. I embossed the logo on the subwoofer itself, and you'll see that move to the 13 and 16-inch once we do the next production run. There is a little bit of an output enhancement. We added weight to the magnet structure of the driver, but the amp stayed the same. So you're looking at like 0.7 dB to 1 dB enhancement output. It wasn't enough for me to really spell it out or anything, because measure. If you were to measure it, you may actually end up measuring less than what we post or more, right? I mean, so I didn't call it out, but there is a minimal performance enhancement to the driver. Yeah, I mean, so that's kind of what we got going on for holiday. Then there's a lot of stuff next year. There's that was going to come out this year, to be honest with you. But all the supply chain stuff you keep reading about is very real. So a lot of things have been pushed back and delayed.
You know what's funny? Like I'm always like at my graveyard shift on TikTok, and I'm going through, and there's a bunch of these workers at the like Port of Los Angeles. They're like showing like how many like robots, big like crane things are working on getting everything in, and how many boats are still just out there like waiting. It's crazy.
It's crazy. I mean, I've never, I've been doing this for a while. I've never really seen anything quite like this. So, I mean, it's affected. I mean, I think, like we were just talking about TVs when it came on, but you're seeing it there too. Like inventory at every, Best Buy, Walmart, or wherever is just very spotty when they come in. So I think that was part of the reason why you saw some early Black Friday prices out there. And it's sort of like, you might as well get it while it's in stock, because you may not, if you're waiting for a lower price. I mean, I have seen some of the promotional roadmaps for some of the brands. That price that was in October was the price it's going to be Black Friday. So there's not a real need to wait. It's not going to be like, I think the 83C one is going to be $5,000, $49.99 on Black Friday. But when it was $52.99, if you really hurt for that extra $300, you might as well pick it up when it was that price. So.
Right. You might not get one at all for Black Friday.
Exactly.
Yeah. So where should we start? What do you want to talk about first out of all those things that you talked about? I know what I want to talk about.
Well, let's talk about what you want to talk about.
Well, man, you see this right here?
Yeah,
this is the Encore. This is the one on YouTube. I opened up the box, right? And I plugged it in, just one, right, by itself. And I was like, what? What is going on over here? That is ridiculous. And I messaged Hobie and started cussing about it. Yeah, see, now we're allowed to talk. So Angela was like, are those subs? What's going on down there? Like, she thought that I was playing something crazy. I'm like, no, I just have one hooked up. I swear to you. Right? So she'll back me up. She'll back me up.
I mean, from what I can see, it's just one tweeter. Is that what it was?
Yeah, this is a one tweeter. That's it. But so I went on and I did like a short YouTube short. Right. So I went on. I'm like, I'm so excited about these speakers. I can't talk about them. And everybody's like, just say it. I'm like, no, I can't say it. I agreed to not say anything about it until Hobie says, okay. So finally, I get to say something. But yeah, these are ridiculous. They're awesome. And I was just super excited. I was dancing like an idiot, just testing them out. That's how you know they're good. You're just like, start making those sounds like Chana when he got his 83-inch. So, ooh, start making all kinds of sounds.
Yeah, I know. I'd be making that sound too if I got the 83-inch. And then there'd be like side eye from the wife, but it's still I'd be making that sound. But, yeah, I loved when you talked about when you posted that video on the Encore, because everybody was like, I guess your name should be more Joe Don't Tell.
Joe Don't Tell.
Because you weren't saying anything.
I was just trying to share my joy, because you can't recapture that. Like, I still love them, right? But I can't recapture that moment as like, what is going on with this? Yeah. So that's how I feel about it. Yeah. Look at these things. So first of all, do you want to, I'll show the website. So let me share here a few things. So this is their virtual booth at the AV Summit. You scroll down. There it is. Do you see this price right here? $179 each.
$179
each.
There it is. Here's the floor standing version, $399 each, right? And then the center channel. So that I'm so happy they have, all the speakers that you need. You can add more bookshelf speakers if you have, more channels. So super exciting. Let me show the actual site here.
The
Share
site,
screen.
I activated them. They are live on the site, but there's not a lot of there isn't any content there yet. It's
Okay.
it's currently being built.
But isn't that see one thing you can't tell from this speaker though, or from this picture? This top is actually a gloss finish, like a nice, like you only see that on more expensive speakers. This gloss finish. So when I open it up, right, it has that bag when you unbox it. Right?
Oh,
Comes
yeah.
in
Yeah,
so
yeah.
even then, you're getting that whole experience. Like, oh, I gotta unbox, and then this is nice bag, and you look at the top like, what is this? This is not a speaker that is this price. Ridiculous. So other thing is, it's not a small speaker, right? Which I'm happy about because they can play loud and they have some very good bass.
Some oomph.
Some very good bass. I'm always happy about good bass because at a speaker at this price point, we try to get people into audio, and you say, yeah, just get some bookshelf speakers. All right, well, they don't have that much bass. All right, well, you have to get a sub too then. Okay. Oh, the sub doesn't really integrate well. Oh yeah, that's because it has some built-in some delays because of the DSP, so you need to get this AVR. Next thing you know, you're like, that's not that cheap, right? With these, because they have bass, I would say, if you had to start off with the lowest possible price, right? Lowest, you could get some of these, get a small Class D amp with some decent power, and place them in a decent place, and I think you're gonna have a very good experience. You're gonna
For
have
like
bass.
under $500.
Yeah, under $500. And the
Yeah.
thing that is usually missing is bass, right? That's usually what's missing. But with these, you can see I'm going to show my measurements when I do my full review. There's deep bass. Like I don't know how you guys did it. Aaron probably knows how you did it. He's talking about Chevy
Yeah.
Chev.
Yeah, I think Aaron probably knows better than I do. Actually,
Yeah.
to be honest with you, Aaron. Yeah. No, I don't. I mean, I agree with you. Like, I don't think you need a subwoofer with these. I think if you're a diehard kind of bass guy, you probably already have a subwoofer you can use with these. But I think as a secondary system, which is what I would consider, like if you're just going to get a couple of bookshelf speakers,
Mm.
I don't think you need a subwoofer. But I also think these can anchor definitely a mid-level system handily.
Mhm.
I'm extremely happy with how these turned out. We worked on them for quite some time, at least almost a couple of years at this point, and just sort of kept going back and forth. And I worked with the same acoustic engineer in the factory that I've worked with, and all the Monolith speakers are all the Monolith THX certified speaker, and we sort of challenged ourselves to really try to bring performance at a really high performance at a certain price point to see if we could do it right. This is the only other speakers we sell the Monolith lineup are the THX certified speakers, which are significantly more money. And I mean, truthfully, I'm not saying these sound like ELAC or sound better than ELAC, but I keep seeing all the reviews for ELAC and around those the debut series around those price points, and that was sort of the price points we targeted because there seems to be a lot of activity around like the 350 a pair speaker, kind of the lower end systems. So I say that kindly, lower end systems, but lower cost systems. So that's sort of what we set out to do. The speaker designer is Dan Romer from Perlissim.
Ooh.
So he designed these as he has most of the Monolith speakers, as well as Arundel. So internally, some of these were called Arundel Junior,
Wow.
which
Wow.
I probably shouldn't say.
Well,
That's
you can
it.
But
ignore that. Undo. So
they have. I mean, I wanted them to look very distinctive at the price point, right? I wanted to look sort of like a speaker that could stand out in a crowd, because once you get kind of around this price point, they all look basically the same. Although I do think like Wharfdale does a great job with the cabinetry at any price point. They seem to be the best at it. But I wanted them to look more expensive than they actually are and outperform the price point. So whoever buys this when they get them, they're kind of like, wow, I really didn't expect this much performance for the money. And I think we did. I mean, I think we did it. Like I was telling you, Joe, it's like as you work on these things, you sort of really get tunnel vision, and that's like your feedback when your first reaction to them was great because you get to listen to. I mean, same with you, Chana. You get to listen to several different brands that we're not, right? Because you guys are reviewers and you have access to all this stuff. So I'm mainly trying to make sure this speaker sounds the best it can at the price point we're trying to go out with. But you guys are much more able to give valuable feedback as to where it ranks amongst all the other brands. And I will say on these, I didn't just try to make them heavy like I do my Subwoofers.
So good.
I didn't say they're not an HDF.
Yes.
They're just MDF. So,
do the feet come off the tower? They do.
They do. Yeah.
Yeah, you screw them on. You have to put them on.
Yeah, but if you don't want to use it, then you don't have to. Although it's better with I think it looks cooler with the platform.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And these actually they look good with the grill too.
Yeah.
So I'm using these as my fronts right now, and they're the bookshelf, but with just more bass, right? So I was impressed with the bass response on these. So you can imagine the floor standing speakers are bigger, more drivers, and tuned lower. So
are the towers like 3-way?
2.5 way.
2.5 way. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody's saying send them to Aaron ASAP. That's what Hobie said. I'm like, I don't want to send these to anyone. I want to keep these in my main system. I'll tell you. I'm telling the truth right now.
Aaron,
that's exactly what happened. But he said send them to Aaron. So I don't know.
Aaron will definitely get a set.
Yes.
He. I think when they come into stock in a couple of weeks, we'll be able to send him a set. Right now, everything we have is already out to reviewers. So, you'll be seeing more reviews of them soon.
Yeah, they're legit. These are legit. And let me show the center real quick. You don't even have to sell anything, Hobie. I'll do it for you.
I appreciate it. Makes my job easier.
You make awesome products, and then I'll be the one that's pimping them out. Let's see here. I guess I can just show this one here. What do you guys in the comments think about this so far? Kind of curious to see what you think. So there's center. This one, it was interesting. This one's sealed.
Yes.
Right? So everything here is ported. The center was sealed. I thought that was kind of interesting. But in my measurement, it has less bass than the bookshelf. But it still has the same tonality. And that's what I like to see. I've seen some where I measure it, and I'm like, center doesn't measure like the other ones at all. Like, the timbre's very different between all these. And so I was happy to see that was the case. I'm almost kind of tempted, because this is my setup here. I have an acoustic transparent screen, just to have like three floor standing speakers, since you sell them individually. Now they'll be perfect.
Right, and that's the reason we sell them individually. It's because we want 3 or 5 or 7 or whatever. It just makes it easier to buy if we do them in pairs.
Mm-hmm. And so I have some binaural demos, some sonic presence sound demos on the actual virtual booth. So if you're an attendee, you can go and check those out. And I actually did some blind shootouts on my YouTube channel where I didn't show any speakers, and I compared a few, and almost every speaker there was more expensive. And they did very well. I'm going to show which ones are which, and they've done well in the blind test. So, yeah, interesting stuff.
Yeah, that was really good to see, too.
Much more expensive. Like, I'm talking about speakers that are 3 times as much. Yeah, and so it's killing it.
I'm going to bust out my calculator here. All right, so we've got $399 times 2 plus, what is it, 180? What is that? 360?
Yeah, there's the bookshelves are like $360 a pair, because there's a volume discount when you buy more than one. So.
Oh, really? There's a volume discount.
And $250. So we've got a 5.0 for under $1,000. Is that what you're telling me?
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think so.
That's pretty good. And one of your subwoofers, and you're good to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
Legit. These are legit. Yeah,
Yeah.
so what else? What else should we talk about? I can talk about these all day, and I will in my review. Make sure to check out the binaural demos to get an idea of what's happening. You'll get an idea what my room sounds like and all that. But I think you'll get an idea. So anyway, what else should we talk about, Hobie?
You
What
tell
other
me.
surprises do you
I know
have
what
up
else
your
you got.
sleeve?
Well, should we take a closer look at these updated THX subs?
Absolutely.
Did I? Oh, I guess I already showed them. They look cool. I think they look good. Let's see. The 10-inch. All right. Are these HDF also?
These are heavy.
All right. These are the heavy ones.
These are the heavy guys. Yeah.
All right. So,
These are all of the Monolith subwoofers are HDF. They're all THX certified. They're
Croson says, let's hear about the big bass 16. And I said, I always joke like, Hobie, please don't send that to me.
yeah,
That's this guy right here. Hold on. Let me share the screen here. Let's talk about.
You're not the only one that's like, I don't know if I can handle that subwoofer. It's a lot of subwoofer.
There it is.
Woo.
Woo.
Look at that guy.
Send it to Shauna.
No.
He wants to put him up the stairs.
That thing will crush me by putting it up the stairs.
Make sure you have a friend, and then make sure you give that friend plenty of gifts afterwards.
Yeah, right.
For their
Well,
help.
I messed up my ankle, so I'm not moving anything. So that would suck.
Yeah, I mean, with this subwoofer, I really just wanted to put the biggest, baddest subwoofer out. I didn't want to go to an 18-inch driver because sometimes, I mean, even with a 15-inch driver, sometimes they get a little slow. So we wanted to maximize the output for a 16, which is why we doubled the wattage from our other subwoofer, like our other for 15 to 1,000 watts. This is 2,000 watts, nearly 4,000 watts peak. Got a custom driver built just for this, THX Ultra. It puts out a massive amount of output, like up to 5 to 6 dB more than even the 13-inch, which was sort of round on par with our 15. So you just have, it gets up to 123, 124 dB in the midday. So and still digs way down deep. I think somebody on Audio Science Review has a subwoofer spreadsheet that has all the subwoofers and their measurements in there, which is a really cool spreadsheet to check out and see where the subwoofers rank. Although I will say, like, the CEA measurements are probably not the only reason you should buy a subwoofer. Sometimes the measurements can be up to 3 dB difference depending on the equipment used and the measurer and the way he's doing it.
You're not supposed to say that when you're killing it on the CEA 2010.
No, I know, but like
you're killing the game.
I do think in the subwoofers out there are a lot of really good subwoofers. I think if you stay with within the brands that everybody talks about, and that's
this
Monolith.
is Sweet Chaos. By the way, you're mentioning
that is Sweet Chaos. Yeah, that sheet is awesome. I appreciate you doing that. It made me ranking things very easy. Because for me, I think that's an important barometer for buying a subwoofer. Then of course you get like looks and all that. Whether it fits in your room, which with a subwoofer like this, I think should probably be the number one priority. Because that thing can, one of your children can use it as a small fort when it's not in use too.
The
It's
box.
huge. Yeah, it's a big cabinet. But yeah, I think, like I said, outside of for the money, I don't think the subwoofer can be beat. Even look at like a JTR, which is their subwoofers are amazing, but the output hangs with a JTR.
Same thing with your Encore speakers, by the way. That's what I told you. I'm like, I don't know what's going to compete with this at this price range. Like, if that was your goal, is to like beat everybody in the price range, I'm like, I don't know how somebody can compete with the the bookshelf's gonna be around like 300 something bucks. I'm like, I don't know. I've reviewed those other speakers.
Right.
So same thing with this one. You guys are just killing it on value.
So-
And is that because you guys can sell directly from your website?
Oh yeah, I mean I mean, one, it's like a 16-inch subwoofer like this. I would say there isn't anybody in brick and mortar that even would want to carry this in a showroom, much less probably not even sell much. It's not really for the mass audience. It's definitely a niche core enthusiast product. I mean, which is the product I'm interested in, right? So it's not like I mean that disparagingly. But I don't think like your average mainstream Best Buy shopper would just look at that and go, "Whoa, that's huge!" And
Yes,
it's not even
get that.
comprehensible to put that in their room.
Yeah.
Whereas I wish I had two of them in my room, but one will suffice.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fantastic stuff, and that's the only thing. Like for me, like sound to me is so subjective. Like to almost say what's one, like for me, like for instance, and I'll probably get a hate mail. Like I'm not like B&W speakers are great speakers, but it's not a tuning like I find preferable, right? And so the Monolith speakers are what I like my speakers to sound like, right? Which are no sort of mid-range hump. They're I wouldn't say that they're accurate. They're fast. They're dynamic. The sound I prefer, like my favorite pair of speakers I ever listened to was the Rebel Salons. So that kind of sound signature is what appeals to me. But it may not appeal to everybody. Like the ELAC sound signature, you may prefer versus these, but I think these are good. I'm excited to get them finally out in the market.
Yeah. Well, I think you do follow a lot of the science too, though. Well, like when we talk, we're like, how did you tune these headphones? Or, talking about things like that. It's not like you're like just tuning them to the Hobie curve.
No,
The
it's
Hobie
usually
curve.
although I am very curvy, but no, I tune it to like the Harman curve, right? I figure if Harman is willing to have a few PhDs on there, and those like Sean Olive, and those PhDs are willing to espouse their knowledge freely, we would be foolish to not pay attention to some of that knowledge and try to utilize it, right? But yeah, all of our, even on the Monoprice side, is the headphones I've been involved with, I try to tune them to the Harman curve.
Here's
and
a
then
question.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead. Sorry. You trying to tune them to the Harman curve?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it does, like even in blind testing, like internally in our office, if you take like a Harman curve versus a different, like I don't know, a straight curve, the Harman curve always wins out. And I would say people that have audio knowledge and then people who don't have audio knowledge.
Yeah. So, audio systems specialist says, Joe Hobie, describe the characteristics using comparative cues against others. Also, I think he earlier asked about the dimensions on these. Do we know that?
I have them. They're just not on the site. And to be honest
like,
with you, I haven't committed them to memory.
Look like about 15 inches tall.
Yeah, roughly.
About 7.5 inches wide and 8.5 inches deep. How about that?
Yeah.
Does that sound about right?
Yeah, that's about right.
That's my finger measurement method.
I mean, it's
very scientific.
size.
Very scientific.
It's very, very much so. It's just, to me, it's your standard size bookshelf. I didn't find them. I don't think they're too big or too small. I
don't think they're too big, but some are just too small to have low bass output.
Right.
So they're the size that needs to be in order to have low bass.
Right.
Hopefully that answers. So describe the characteristics using comparative cues against others. Like you want me to say chocolatey stuff?
Yeah.
What do you want me to say?
I mean, or you can start getting the treble is extended and dry, but airy. I don't know.
Okay, so I guess so they have deep bass, right? Everything sounds correct to me. There's nothing that stands out like, oh man, that thing is just like has an issue, right? There's no place where it seems like, oh, that's annoying because of something, right? And then the highs are clear, right? I'm not missing out on any high frequency extension, and I'm very happy to say that the waveguide works as far as like being off axis, right? In different, usually above is the worst, but it's not, horrible in any direction, and so, help widen that sweet spot.
Yep. Yeah, that's why we put that in there, and it actually really helps with vocals too on the center channel speaker. I mean, I think the vocals come through pretty well on that speaker. But yeah, it definitely helps.
Yeah. So hopefully that helps. That gives you some characteristics about the sound. I think actually, so I think you would like this. I know you, and I think you might actually like these. You might want to take a look at these. I'm just saying. I know you're shopping for speakers. I don't know if you already purchased, but if not, then save a lot of money. What else? What other questions we got in here? Let's see. Agree PhD. You see anything in here that's interesting to you? I know some people were saying that they really like their headphone amps.
Yeah.
Monolith headphone amps.
This Andrew says, thank you for your products, Hobie. I have your HTP1 7 channel amp and 2 of those 15-inch subs. Wow.
Yeah, Andrew's a Monolith power user. I gotta
Yes.
send that guy a gift basket or something. I'm sure I get his email afterward.
You know who doesn't have an HTP one?
You.
Joe doesn't have one. He wants one. So
I had to
bad.
get the new MacBook.
Oh,
It's for work.
Decision is decisions.
yeah.
I'll save up. It's all right.
It'll be okay.
We'll get you through this trying time.
Yeah. I'll figure it out. Let's see what else we got. Chana's there. He said,
I was just looking at the chat to see if there were any more questions. Didn't seem like a whole lot.
Put H beside the new amps. I'll get 16 speakers. I'm telling you, Kanga, this is what I'm about. This is what I would do. Save some money, I know folks like to spend a lot on expensive speakers, and that's okay. That's okay. But for me, I try to spend as little as possible, unless I have to, Unless there's a huge difference going from one thing to another, I don't try to spend extra money if I don't need to.
Right.
So.
I think too on speakers, there's definitely a lot of diminishing returns right after a certain price point. I mean, I think you see that across the board.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, after a certain level, they all, none of them are bad, but speakers are, the one product where in headphones too, where you can't say the $5,000 pair of speakers definitively sounds better than the $2,000 pair of speakers, because sometimes it just doesn't.
Yeah. Well, you're messing up that whole curve. You're like shifting everything over with these Encore. I know it sounds like I'm hyping them up big time, and I am, because they deserve it. You guys will see. You heard it here first. AV Summit.
That's right.
There.
Oh, yes.
There we go.
I can comment. Let me show you some stuff. So what we did, we used HiFi modules. So these are custom modules just for Monolith. If I can try to hold it. It's like everything's opposite day.
Here we go.
But what we did is, because we worked with HiFi and customized it a little bit. That's why you see the rather huge heat sink we put on there. Right. Mm-hmm. So we are putting out an 8-channel Class D amp and actually 2 8-channel Class D amps, one 200 watts, one 100 watts. That should peak out around 250 watts, 125, 130 watts. But all channels driven, they're 200 and 100. The 8x200 is going to be $29.99, and the 8x100 is $19.99. They should be out in 2 to 3 weeks. They're very close. They're actually like all halfway assembled in Montebello. I was taking a look at them last Friday. So they are very, very close. But this module is custom manufactured by HiFi just for us. It's an Encore module.
Very cool.
Very good.
Yeah, and then that's the
chassis.
It's like show and tell.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's
Show and
the
don't tell.
chassis. It's believe it's 4 rack units, 4 RUs, if I'm
Mm-hmm.
not mistaken. Doesn't weigh quite as much as the Class AB amps, but it's still, it's still a little beefy, but it's around 45 pounds instead of 100 pounds. Same look as the other Monolith amps. You can mix and match. I don't know if I can turn it around. Look at that. Yeah, the old XLR outputs and all there. But yeah, it's pretty exciting. I'd like to get these out too. Hopefully they should be out in the next couple of weeks.
Somebody says that we need more Monolith presence in Europe.
I agree. It's coming. Like for instance, the Encore speakers will be in Europe. The subwoofers are already in Europe. The 13 and 16 should be in Europe in about a month and a half. But yeah, we definitely sense there's a lot of want in Europe. So we will be moving more and more stuff over there as we come across. It's not like there's no Monolith stuff there now. We do have the THX speakers over there. Some of the Monolith planar headphones are over there. So there's a decent amount of product over there. But we need to get more. We definitely need to get more product there. The powered stuff is the challenge. The Monolith amplifiers are kind of a challenge because they're actually assembled and built in the USA, and so shipping those over there is going to be expensive. We need to test to make sure they don't get damaged in transit. So that is sort of one of the challenges right now.
Yeah. American Audio Company UK says he has some already. So I support American Audio Company UK because he's always supporting us and what we're doing. So quick shout out. I don't mind doing that.
Very cool. Yeah, we should talk. I think you sent me his contact info.
Yeah.
Before, so we should definitely talk and maybe we can get something set up that's more workable for everybody.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole point of these meeting rooms is after this event, after this particular show, if you have time, maybe you can talk to some of the attendees in the lobby and maybe answer some of their questions there if you have time. But then on Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1, we have these meeting rooms. And so if a representative from Monolith can be there, you, Hobie, and whoever else, maybe that's the place, that time and place to do some of these deals. So that was the whole point of it. We're trying something new, and we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Cool.
What else we got? We got some other questions that just came up. Man, I'm behind. Hold on. You see any there?
King is asking about specs.
Some specs. Okay, some specs. What are
On the Encores,
what's the what is the impedance on these? And do you want to say claimed frequency response? I don't know if you guys have measured these or not. I know I have.
Oh yeah, of course we measured them.
Of course you measure. Of course you do.
Yeah,
Sorry, I forgot that you guys actually do measurements. I know other people don't. Some other companies just they make something. Hopefully it sounds good.
Yeah.
They do it by ear.
Yeah, hopefully it measures well. I should say.
Yeah, no, the towers. I think so there will be there'll be 2 sizes of Encores. There's a 6.5 inch, which is the ones we sent out to you, and there'll be a 5 inch coming a little later. So the 6.5 inches, like the towers, I think go into the high 30s as far as bass response. I think we're going to rate them down to 37 hertz or 40 hertz, something like that, is like this minus 6 dB point. Obviously in room it measures, around there in room, depending how you utilize the port. Yeah. The bookshelves, typical bookshelf kind of around the 60 hertz range, same with the center.
Okay, so you guys are claiming 60 hertz. 60 hertz and 37?
I think so. I think that's what we decided on, which would be me. I need to actually look them back up. Okay.
I think that's nice. You guys are being like BMW, just being very conservative of your ratings, and I'd rather a company be conservative than some of these guys.
I don't want to be the guy that shows a bookshelf and says it's 35 hertz or something like that. So I have seen that. That's not even on most bookshelf speakers. Not even true.
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what I want to show here. I don't know if I'm. I have to make a review too if I show everything.
Right.
Another,
Okay. Like, do I show it now or later?
yeah.
Because
Show,
I
don't
just have
show.
some in-room response. Maybe I can share with you privately, Kanga. I'll show you some
Yeah,
frequency response. But let me just say that the port. So there's a difference between what's happening at the speaker itself versus the port tuning. And the port tuning in my room, I'm getting audible bass in, let's just say, 20 to 30 hertz region. Like audible, it's there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Angela can verify because she was in the other room. You know how they do. So I'm a different floor. She's upstairs, and so I was demoing these, and she can tell you what the experience was from there, from the kitchen. Yeah, I don't know if I want to show this.
Oh,
Maybe.
don't
I don't
do
know.
it.
You guys want it?
Do it. Oh, tease him. Tease him.
I don't
the
mind.
spot.
Let me hold on. Let's see.
Show.
Show and tell. Show and tell. Show.
So you guys know my measurements are in-room measurements, but I use a method that I think lines up pretty well with some of the guys that are doing some more, what do you say, more professional measurements, more
thorough,
more, yeah, I don't know, more controlled, right?
Okay.
So he had one speaker connected, and I thought he was doing subwoofer tests. There it is. One bookshelf. That's true. This is true. So let's see here. So let me take one of these away. Share screen. So this is my response of the speaker. I was measuring really close to it, right? So this is trying not to get the room as much as possible. You pull out into the center of the room, all that.
It'll be a little different.
Yeah, I'm not like throwing it in a corner and try to get the most bass out of it. It's not what I'm doing. So here it is. You see the response, right? And then the low frequency response. So I'm excited to see what you guys get because you guys do the more controlled tests. And so here's 20 hertz over here, right? Here's 1 kilohertz right here, right? So you can see there's 25 hertz right there. That's, to me, audible. So that's the bookshelf. And then I was looking at the floor sander, and of course, floor sander has more bass. But this is, inexpensive speakers. I was just like, wow, So if you guys know what you're looking at here, you guys can comment. So let's see here. Take that off. Okay. What are you guys saying over there?
We got a super chat from FOMO.
Oh, wow.
$20.
Wow.
Hey, he says, "Hey Hobie, finally I'm able to take a break to say the Monolith 16-inch subwoofer is a beast, but when is the dual 16-inch coming out?"
We're not even working on it right now. Man, that thing would be.
I have a wish list then. I have a wish list thing. How about like dual opposing 10s or dual opposing 12s? That's kind of the hot thing now, right? The dual opposing.
Yeah, but
no, not feeling that.
I don't want to put. For me personally, just putting on subwoofers for me, just a design standpoint, doesn't make much sense. Like the output of my subs today have more output than dual opposing subwoofer. Granted, you can get smaller. I mean, I will say, it wouldn't shock me if you saw like a micro subwoofer from Monolith sometime next year. But the dual 16, I think.
Don't do it. That's too awesome. Do it.
I think it's inevitable. But it's not currently in planning or production or anything like that. So it would be a ways out. I kind of wanted to see how the 16 does in general, and then that's sort of how it works, right? You kind of put something out, see how it does, then go, okay, we can take it to the next. So
you hear that, people? You want to see a dual 16-inch, you got to buy the single first.
That's right. And that way the Dual 16 will be out the same time the 97-inch OLED will be out.
Right. Everything's just getting bigger and bigger. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
I can do a
ultra short
98-inch
throw.
screen.
Ultra short throw is a new thing, and it's always about like, oh, now I have to get a console. Dual 16-inch, put it right underneath. There's your console, right?
Yeah, there
Put
it
it
is.
sideways.
Just that's
Put
it.
the center channel right on top of that.
That's it.
Might that subwoofer might shake your focus a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
yeah. Never
That's
mind.
true.
That's why you need dual opposing. Oh,
Ah, dude.
Oh,
see,
snap.
doesn't shake.
Yeah,
You know what? There was a question.
that was a
Thank you for
microaggression, man.
That was a
Thank you. Mo.
there was an earlier question, Hobie, I forget who asked, but they were asking if you make sealed subwoofers.
We had some sealed subwoofers for a while, and they didn't really sell that well. And I think so. That told me two things. One, our ported subwoofers you can make sealed. They come with foam plugs, and you can just plug the ports and put it in sealed mode. The sealed subwoofers were basically just that, a smaller cabinet, right? But they didn't sell nearly as well as the ported. So what that told me is a couple things. One, our customers really like output, right?
Yeah.
And that size didn't matter. So the sealed customer was probably buying the ported one, didn't really care how big it was or the fact that the sealed one was smaller. Whereas like the 10-inch sealed subwoofer was significantly smaller than our 10-inch ported subwoofer. I mean, all of them were significantly smaller. But that really wasn't factoring much into the purchasing decision because even though they're smaller, they're still big, bigger than like your average $300-$400 subwoofer you see at Best Buy. So I think I'm assuming that was part of it. And I did have, way back when I was just a child, I did have somebody that was a VP at another company, audio company, that told me their own research showed me that any subwoofer over $800, their research showed that nobody cares how big it is. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
right, because they just want the performance, and so at that point, the size isn't really detrimental to somebody buying. I don't know if that's true, but it just made sense to me because again, it's how I kind of thought. Right, it's like I don't care how big it is because they're all big. All subwoofers are going to take up space. So ultimately.
Yeah. Man. So we could keep going, but you know what? I think it might be smarter for us to close this one up just so Hobie can talk to attendees because I feel like a lot of you guys have questions for him. So I think that's a smart thing to do. What do you think? You okay with that, Hobie, or you want to talk about some more stuff here?
I'm ready. I think it's easier just to take questions from the people, man.
Yeah, you're for the people. Hobie is for the people. He's for you guys.
We are the people's
Hey,
audio
Cody's
brand.
there, Home Theater Hobbyist.
He's got
Awesome
the
channel, by the
Monolith
way.
7 amp.
Smoothest voice in audio.
That's right. He's got the 7-channel Monolith amp and loves it. Awesome.
Yeah.
Great amp.
Chana's got the second smoothest voice.
Oh.
He does. You got
It's
a great
okay.
voice, man. A great voice.
Oh, thank you. You guys are too much. All right, so we're gonna shut this guy down right now, and we will be back at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with Simon Spears from OSD. Can't wait to talk to him about what's going on with OSD. And for all of those that are attending the AV Summit, we will see you in the lobby so you guys can ask your questions to Hobie directly, and he clearly won't have any problems answering any super secret things.
Hobie does tell.
I am an open kimono.
He,
An open kimono.
Hobie is Monolith, so he doesn't have to pull punches. I do. I can't say stuff if Hobie says nope, and then I have to say.
I just like to share. I'm not selfish.
Yes.
Like that.
There you go. So that's why we want to get you in this lobby. So let me give the private chat link there, Hobie. On the right, you'll see private chat. You'll see the link to the lobby.
And do not leave the studio while I shut this down. We will see you guys at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.